Hello everyone, before we begin today's story, I have a small favor to ask. Please hit subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss our channel's new videos. It's quick, free, and the best way to support us in bringing you more dramatic stories. Your support means the world to us. Where are you watching from? Drop your city or country in the comments below. Thank you very much. Now, let's dive into today's story. Hello everyone, before we begin today's story, I have a small favor to ask. Please hit subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss our channel's new videos. It's quick, free, and the best way to support us in bringing you more dramatic stories. Your support means the world to us. Where are you watching from? Drop your city or country in the comments below. Thank you very much. Now, let's dive into today's story. End of first part. After running out of the restaurant in embarrassment, Emma couldn't stop replaying the night in her mind. She had no idea what had possessed her to sit at the wrong table. She kept telling herself that it wasn't a big deal, that people made mistakes all the time. But there was something about Liam, something about the way he had listened to her, made her feel heard in a way that no one else had in a long time. She wasn't sure if she was more embarrassed by her mistake or by how much she actually enjoyed the conversation. She tried to shake it off as she walked down the wet streets of the city, heading back to her small apartment. But her thoughts kept circling back to him. Who was he really? Why hadn't he corrected her sooner? And why did she care so much? End of part 2. It had been a few days since their coffee date, and Emma couldn't stop thinking about Liam. The way he listened to her, the ease with which they talked. She hadn't felt that comfortable with anyone in a long time. She'd been caught off guard by how much she'd enjoyed his company. But at the same time, she couldn't ignore the nagging feeling that there was more to him than what he had let on. She had only scratched the surface, and part of her wanted to dig deeper. Yet, another part of her was afraid of what she might find. Maybe he was just another guy who played games, another guy who saw her as nothing more than a waitress. But somehow, she didn't think that was the case with Liam. Not yet, at least. End of part 3. Emma couldn't stop thinking about Liam's words as she walked back to her apartment that evening. The way he had looked at her, the way he saw her not just for her job, but for who she really was. It was a feeling she wasn't used to, a feeling of being truly seen, and it stirred something inside her that she hadn't felt in a long time. She had always been so focused on surviving, on getting by, that she hadn't realized how much she craved to be understood, to be valued beyond her circumstances. As she opened the door to her small apartment, she let out a deep breath, trying to shake off the overwhelming emotions. But her mind kept returning to him, to Liam, and how she had never expected a simple coffee date to change everything. End of part 4. The following week, Emma couldn't stop thinking about the gala and everything that had happened between her and Liam. There was something different about him. Wasn't like the other men she had met, those who only saw her as a waitress or a dreamer. Liam listened, truly listened, and it made her feel seen in a way that was both terrifying and exhilarating. It wasn't just his kindness, though it was the way he made her feel like her dreams were possible. They had only spent a few days together, but somehow, she already felt more connected to him than she had to anyone in a long time. And yet, doubts lingered. Was this just some kind of fleeting moment? Was she just one of many in his world, or did he really see something in her? End of part 5. In the following weeks, Emma found herself spending more and more time with Liam. What had started as a casual coffee date had quickly turned into something more. They saw each other nearly every day, and each time, Emma found herself more and more drawn to him. He wasn't like anyone she had ever met. He was kind, genuine, and seemed to understand her in a way that no one else ever had. The more time they spent together, the more Emma began to question the walls she had built around herself. For so long, she had kept her heart guarded, afraid of getting hurt. But with Liam, things felt different. She didn't feel like she was pretending. She felt like she could truly be herself. End of part 6. After Liam's confession, Emma stood there for a moment, processing his words. She had known deep down that there was more to him, but hearing it directly from him made her heart race. She wasn't sure what to think, but one thing was clear: had been honest with her, and that meant something. She looked at him, her voice soft. I'm glad you told me, she said, her eyes searching his. I guess I was a little scared, too. Scared that maybe you were just living in a different world than I am. That I didn't belong there. Liam reached out and gently took her hand, his expression earnest. Emma, you belong wherever you want to belong. You're not just some waitress to me. You're someone with dreams, with a future. And I want to be a part of that, no matter where we come from. His words felt like a weight lifting off her shoulders. She had always wondered if she would ever find someone who saw her for more than her circumstances, and now, she had. They stood there in the quiet street for a moment, just holding hands, as the world around them moved on, oblivious to the shift in Emma's heart. But as the days passed, she couldn't ignore the growing sense of connection between them. Liam had become more than just someone she shared conversations with, had become someone she could imagine building a life with. End of part 7. The weeks that followed were filled with new experiences for Emma and Liam. What started as an unexpected connection had now turned into something much deeper. They spent more time together, navigating their differences and celebrating the things that brought them closer. Emma had never felt this way before. She had always been independent, always wary of depending too much on anyone. But with Liam, it was different. He was patient, understanding, and, most of all, he made her feel like she was more than enough just as she was. They continued to explore the city together, attending art shows, going on long walks, and enjoying each other's company. Yet, even in the midst of their growing bond, there was something looming over them, something Emma hadn't quite brought up yet. End of part 8. The weeks that followed were filled with a sense of peace Emma had never known. She and Liam had built something real, something grounded in trust, understanding, and love. They continued to spend time together, growing closer with each passing day. Emma's art was flourishing, and Liam supported her in every way he could, never pushing, just being there, encouraging her to chase her dreams. And as she watched her life slowly change, she realized that what she had feared most, being vulnerable, being open to someone, had turned out to be the best thing that could have happened to her. She wasn't just surviving anymore, she was living. They were living. End of part 9.